Welcome back, Genesis International College students. Today, we're diving into a really critical skill for Topic 2, locating key features on a site using site plans and drawings. It's honestly a fascinating process. We are literally bridging the gap between a pristine, perfect paper blueprint and a messy, physical dirt lot. So let's make sense of all these lines and symbols together, all right?
Now, you might be wondering, how do you turn those flat lines on paper into a massive physical building? I mean, it really is the ultimate test for any builder, right? How do you take a 2D technical drawing, just a piece of paper covered in tiny numbers, weird abbreviations, and hatchings, and translate it into a 3D construction project? Well, it takes a systematic approach. You've got to read the plan, orient yourself in the physical space, and know exactly what features to look for way before a single shovel even hits the earth.
And to do that, this explainer is drawing directly from your official Genesis International College material for Unit CPCCOM2001, Read and Interpret Plans and Specifications. We're going to completely break down all that technical jargon. We'll unpack the structured steps you need to confidently step on any job site and know exactly what you are looking at. It's going to be a real game changer for you.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda for today. 1. The construction roadmap. 2. Orienting the site plan. 3. Decoding the title block. 4. Identifying key site features. And 5. Pinpointing nominated locations.
Starting off with Section 1, the construction roadmap, from paper to dirt.
You know, before any builder picks up a power tool or starts pouring concrete, they desperately need a way to bring order to the chaos of an empty block of land. You can't just guess where a wall goes. That's exactly where the site plan comes in. It's essentially an aerial, bird's-eye view showing exactly where the proposed building sits on the property. And what's absolutely crucial here is the scale. It's typically drawn to a 1 to 200 scale. To put that into perspective, every single unit of measurement on your paper equals 200 of those units out in the real world. This one document is your absolute foundation for locating boundaries, calculating setbacks, finding driveways, and spotting existing structures, the whole shebang.
Moving right along to Section 2, orienting the site plan, finding your bearings.
So, imagine pulling up to the physical job site. You step out of your truck, plan in hand. What are your crucial first actions? Step 1, put on your personal protective equipment. Step 2, find the north point physically on the land. And step 3, orient the plan to the site. You literally rotate your paper plan so it aligns perfectly with the physical space. If you skip these steps, well, you risk reading the entire project backwards. And yeah, that is a mistake you absolutely do not want to make.
Listen, even if ground hasn't been broken yet, even if you're standing in a completely empty, quiet field, putting on that PPE is your mandatory first step. No exceptions. Based on standard site procedures, at a bare minimum, we're talking about your high-vis vest, your hard hat, and your steel cap work boots. Oh, and a quick reminder, always check your gear for damage before putting it on. Safety is always step 1, guys.
Now, what's really interesting about this next bit is that the North Point symbol won't always look the same across different sets of plans. Sometimes it's a fancy compass star. Other times it's just a simple circle with a line and an N. But the function, that is critical. Once you're on site, you have to use a physical compass or a calibrated app on your phone to find true north. Then, physically turn your body and the paper so the north arrow on the plan points to actual north. Bam! Now your paper matches the dirt.
Next up, Section 3, decoding the title block, your plan's ID.
Before you go walking the boundaries, take a second and look down at the bottom corner of your plan. The title block is basically the ID card for your specific project. It's got the project title, the scale, north point, date, drawing number, and the revision number. Actually, scratch that. Pay special attention to the revision number. Plans change constantly, right? Checking this guarantees you aren't accidentally building off an outdated roadmap. You can have your site perfectly oriented, but if you're using revision 2 instead of revision 4, you are going to have a massive problem on your hands.
Let's head to Section 4, identifying key site features, translating 2D to 3D. Okay, so now we have the right plan, and we're facing the right direction. It's time to fully shift our focus out to the physical terrain. We need to translate that 2D drawing into a 3D environment. This means you have to physically walk the bounds of the site to cross-reference the paper against the reality of the block. You're verifying boundaries and dimensions, existing structures, contours, and datums. You're looking out for significant trees and noting any easements where building is a no-go. And as a Genesis student, you're going to drill down heavily into these specific skills in your other coursework. For example, you'll perfect your measuring skills in Unit CPCCOM2015. And to wrap your head around those tricky slopes and contours, you'll master that in Unit CPCCM2006 with basic leveling procedures. It's like a giant puzzle, and all these units connect together to build your complete skill set.
Finally, Section 5, Pinpointing Nominated Locations. The unchangeable details. We've reached the most precise stage of site orientation. Once the broad boundaries are verified, you have to pinpoint the exact spots that absolutely, positively cannot be moved. These are your nominated locations, specific predetermined points calculated for plumbing, electrical, and structural systems. And guys, these are rigid calculations. They are not polite suggestions from the architect. They are highly engineered to ensure all those systems work perfectly together without disastrously crashing into each other later on. So there are 4 main categories here you need to flag to avoid catastrophic mistakes. First, service points. Think sewer, water, and gas entryways. Second, electrical fixtures like smoke alarms and switchboards. Third, structural elements, which dictate the precise positions for load-bearing posts or columns. And fourth, setbacks. That's the strict, legal distance your building has to stay away from the boundary line. Honestly, misread a setback, and you might literally end up having to tear down a freshly built wall. No thank you. It all really boils down to the golden rule of construction. Measure twice, build once. When you're out there, you must constantly cross-reference the dimensions on your paper plan with physical measurements on the ground to ensure a perfect installation. Never assume, always verify. Your site plan might be the source of truth, but it's your tape measure that proves it in the dirt. And that takes the mystery out of all those lines and hatchings. We've covered the roadmap, orienting to true north, decoding the title block, and pinning down those unchangeable nominated locations. So what does this all mean for you? Well, now that the structured steps are clear, how will you apply this on your very next site visit to confidently hit the tools? Think about that as you review your Genesis International College materials. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.